Welcome to a peaceful night of relaxation and dreams. As you prepare to drift off to sleep, allow yourself to unwind and let go of the day's thoughts. Tonight, I invite you to join Princess Lydia on a magical journey through the enchanted kingdom of Elarion, where the soft glow of the Moonbeam Pansy will guide her path. Before we begin, take a moment to find comfort in your bed. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and slowly exhale, feeling the tension in your body melt away. Imagine a gentle, calming light surrounding you, bringing warmth and serenity to your entire being. With each breath, let yourself sink deeper into relaxation, letting go of all the stresses of the day. As you listen to the story, let the soothing rhythm of my voice carry you into a state of deep tranquility. Allow the peaceful imagery and gentle words to lull you into a restful slumber. Let the magic of the tale wrap around you like a cozy blanket, guiding you to a place of comfort and serenity. Now, let the story of Princess Lydia unfold, and as the night progresses, may you find yourself drifting effortlessly into a peaceful, restorative sleep. Sweet dreams, and may the night bring you the rest and rejuvenation you deserve. Chapter 1. The quest begins. The moon hung high in the sky, its silver light casting an ethereal glow over the kingdom of Elarion. In the heart of the royal castle, the young Princess Lydia stood by her window, gazing at the celestial sphere with a mix of curiosity and longing. It was her 18th birthday, a milestone that traditionally heralded the reception of a significant gift. Tonight, that gift had arrived in the form of a mysterious, enchanting flower. Lydia held the delicate pansy in her hands, its petals a deep violet hue that shimmered under the moonlight. As the clock struck midnight, the flower began to emit a soft, luminescent glow, casting dancing shadows across her chamber walls. The sight was mesmerizing, and Lydia couldn't help but feel a strange connection to the magical bloom. A knock at her door broke the spell. "Enter," she called softly, her eyes still fixed on the glowing flower. The door creaked open, and an elderly woman, draped in robes of deep blue, stepped into the room. It was Esme, the castle's wise woman and trusted advisor. "Ah, Princess Lydia," Esme began, her voice a gentle whisper. "I see you have received your gift." Lydia turned to face her, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. "Yes, Esme. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. What is it?" Esme smiled, her eyes twinkling with ancient knowledge. "This is the Moonbeam Pansy, a rare and magical flower. It blooms only under the light of the moon, and it is said to reveal hidden pathways to those who possess it." "Hidden pathways?" Lydia echoed, her heart quickening with excitement. "What kind of pathways?" "Paths that lead to great destinies," Esme replied, her voice grave yet filled with hope. "Your family has been chosen by the moon goddess herself. This flower is a sign that you are destined for a journey of great importance." Lydia's mind raced with possibilities. She'd always yearned for adventure, feeling confined by the castle walls and the expectations of royalty. Now, it seemed, the opportunity she had longed for was within her grasp. "But what am I to do?" she asked, looking down at the glowing pansy. Esme stepped closer, her gaze intense and unwavering. "You must follow the guidance of the Moonbeam Pansy. It will reveal a hidden path in the royal garden. Follow that path, and it will lead you to your destiny. But beware, Princess. The journey will not be easy. You will face trials and challenges that will test your courage, wisdom, and resolve." Lydia nodded, determination setting in. "I am ready, Esme. Whatever trials lie ahead, I will face them." The wise woman placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Remember, Princess, you are never alone. Trust in the guidance of the pansy and seek out allies who will aid you on your quest." As Esme left the room, Lydia felt a newfound sense of purpose welling within her. She glanced once more at the glowing pansy, its light steady and reassuring. With a deep breath, she resolved to begin her journey at the first light of the moon. That night, Lydia could hardly sleep. Visions of hidden pathways, ancient prophecies, and mysterious trials filled her dreams. When the moon rose high once more, she slipped out of bed, the pansy clutched in her hand, and made her way to the royal garden. The garden was bathed in moonlight, the flowers and trees casting long, eerie shadows. Lydia walked with purpose, her steps guided by the gentle glow of the pansy. As she ventured deeper into the garden, she noticed a faint shimmer in the air, like a veil being lifted. There, before her eyes, a hidden pathway began to materialize, illuminated by the moon's silvery rays. Her heart pounding with excitement, Lydia stepped onto the path, ready to embrace the adventure that awaited her. And so, under the watchful eye of the moon, Princess Lydia's quest began, the first steps of a journey that would change her life forever. The hidden pathway shimmered beneath Lydia's feet, each step she took revealing more of its ethereal beauty. Moonlight bathed the garden, casting an otherworldly glow on the flora. Ancient trees with gnarled branches stood sentinel, their leaves rustling in a breeze that whispered secrets. Flowers of every hue bloomed in a radiant tapestry, their scents mingling in the cool night air. Lydia walked slowly, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The Moonbeam Pansy's glow guided her, its light unwavering. As she ventured deeper into the garden, she marveled at the transformation around her. The familiar paths and flower beds of the royal garden seemed distant, replaced by a realm that felt both magical and sacred. She came upon a clearing where the moonlight pooled like liquid silver. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient stone altar, covered in ivy and adorned with carvings of celestial symbols. Lydia approached it with reverence, her eyes tracing the intricate designs that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Atop the altar lay a scroll bound with a silken ribbon. Lydia gently untied the ribbon and unrolled the parchment. Written in elegant script, the message seemed to glow with the same luminescence as the pansy. "Princess Lydia," it began, "the The Moonbeam Pansy has chosen you to walk the path of destiny. Your journey is one of great significance, foretold in the stars. Follow the light of the pansy, and it will lead you to the trials that will shape your future. Trust in the moon's guidance and in your own heart. You are the key to a prophecy that will bring prosperity to your kingdom. Lydia's pulse quickened as she read the words. The weight of her destiny settled on her shoulders, but she felt a fierce determination rising within her. She knew this was the adventure she had been yearning for, the chance to prove herself and make a difference. As she finished reading, the pansy's glow intensified, illuminating a hidden path that stretched beyond the clearing. With a deep breath, Lydia stepped forward, leaving the familiar world behind. The path led her through a dense thicket where the trees grew close, their branches intertwining to form a natural archway. The air was thick with the scent of moss and earth, and the only sound was the soft rustling of leaves. Lydia moved with purpose, her eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of danger. After what felt like hours, she emerged into another clearing, this one dominated by an enormous ancient tree. Its trunk was as wide as a house, and its branches reached high into the sky, disappearing into the night. The tree exuded an aura of wisdom and power, and Lydia felt a strange compulsion to approach it. As she neared the tree, she noticed a figure standing in its shadow. It was a woman draped in flowing robes that seemed to be woven from moonlight itself. Her hair shimmered like silver, and her eyes glowed with an inner light. "Princess Lydia," the woman said, her voice like a soft breeze. "I am the guardian of this enchanted garden. You have been chosen to undertake a quest of great importance." Lydia nodded, her heart pounding. "I understand. I am ready to face whatever trials lie ahead." The guardian smiled, a look of approval in her glowing eyes. "Your journey will not be easy, but you have the strength and courage to succeed. The Moonbeam Pansy will guide you, revealing the hidden pathways that will lead you to your destiny. Remember, you are not alone. Allies will come to your aid, and together you will overcome the challenges before you." With that, the guardian raised her hand, and the pansy's light flared, casting a brilliant glow that illuminated another hidden path leading deeper into the garden. Lydia took a deep breath, her resolve firm, and stepped onto the path, ready to embrace the adventure that awaited her. As she walked, the moonlight seemed to dance around her, whispering promises of the destiny that lay ahead. With each step, Lydia felt her confidence grow, the weight of her royal lineage and the promise of the prophecy guiding her forward. The hidden pathways of the enchanted garden beckoned, and Lydia was determined to uncover their secrets. The hidden path wound deeper into the heart of the enchanted garden, each step bathed in the soft, luminous glow of the Moonbeam Pansy. Lydia felt a strange exhilaration as she moved forward, the moonlight weaving a silver tapestry through the trees and flowers around her. The air was filled with the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine, and the soft rustling of leaves created a symphony that seemed to urge her onward. As she walked, Lydia noticed ancient carvings on the trunks of the trees and stones along the path. The symbols were unfamiliar, yet oddly comforting, as if they held a forgotten wisdom. She traced her fingers over the intricate designs, feeling a connection to the generations of her family who had walked similar paths before her. Suddenly, the path opened into a wide glade, the moonlight pouring in like a river of silver. In the center of the glade stood a towering stone arch, covered in ivy and adorned with glowing runes. The archway seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, its presence both intimidating and inviting. Lydia approached the arch, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she neared, the Moonbeam Pansy in her hand began to glow even brighter, its light reflecting off the runes and casting shimmering patterns on the ground. She could feel the air around her hum with power, the very essence of the garden alive with magic. Stepping through the arch, Lydia was enveloped in a warm, ethereal light. The world around her shifted, and she found herself standing in a place that felt both familiar and otherworldly. The sky above was filled with swirling constellations, their patterns forming a celestial map. The ground beneath her feet was covered in soft, luminescent moss that seemed to glow with its own inner light. In the center of this magical realm stood a figure draped in robes of midnight blue, their face obscured by a hood. The figure raised a hand, and the constellations above began to shift and realign, forming a new pattern that pointed directly at Lydia. "Princess Lydia," the figure intoned, their voice echoing with the resonance of the stars. "You have been chosen by the moon goddess to fulfill a great destiny. The path you walk is one of prophecy and power, and the Moonbeam Pansy is your guide." Lydia stepped forward, her eyes wide with wonder. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling with awe. "I am the keeper of the stars," the figure replied, lowering their hood to reveal a face etched with the wisdom of ages. "It is my duty to guide those chosen by the moon goddess and to reveal the hidden pathways that lead to their destiny." The keeper gestured to the constellations above. "These stars hold the secrets of your journey. Each constellation represents a trial you must face, a challenge that will test your courage, wisdom, and heart. Only by overcoming these trials will you unlock the true power of the Moonbeam Pansy and fulfill the prophecy." Lydia nodded, her determination solidifying. "I understand. I'm ready to face these trials and prove myself worthy." The keeper smiled, their eyes twinkling with approval. "Your journey will not be easy, but you possess the strength and spirit needed to succeed. Remember, the light of the pansy will guide you, and allies will come to your aid. Trust in yourself and in the wisdom of the stars." With a wave of the keeper's hand, the constellations above shifted once more, forming a pathway of stars that led back to the archway. Lydia took a deep breath, her resolve firm, and stepped onto the starlit path. As she walked, the world around her began to fade. and she found herself back in the enchanted garden, the stone archway behind her. The Moonbeam Pansy still glowed brightly in her hand, its light a beacon of hope and guidance. Lydia knew that her journey had only just begun. The hidden pathways of her destiny stretched out before her, filled with trials and challenges that would test her in ways she could not yet imagine. But with the moonlight to guide her and the promise of the prophecy in her heart, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The garden around Lydia seemed to breathe with anticipation as she stepped forward, each footfall echoing the promise of adventure. The Moonbeam Pansy's glow remained steadfast, casting ethereal light on the hidden path that unfurled before her. The air was crisp and filled with the whispers of unseen spirits, guiding her deeper into the heart of the enchanted garden. Lydia's journey led her to a dense grove where ancient trees entwined their branches overhead, forming a natural canopy that blocked out the moonlight. Only the pansy's glow lit her way, creating an otherworldly tunnel of shimmering light. She felt a sense of reverence for the path she walked, knowing that many before her had trodden similar secret trails. As she ventured further, the trees began to thin, and Lydia found herself at the edge of a vast moonlit meadow. In the center stood a grand statue of a warrior queen, her stone visage both fierce and serene. The statue held a sword aloft, its blade pointing to the sky, and at its base a plaque with an inscription in an ancient script. Lydia knelt to read the inscription, her fingers tracing the worn letters. "Here lies Elysia, the first moonlit guardian," it read. "She who walked the hidden path and brought peace to the realm." Lydia felt a shiver of connection, a sense of continuity with the legendary queen who had once embarked on a journey much like her own. A sudden rustle in the grass made Lydia stand, her heart quickening. From the shadows emerged a figure, cloaked and hooded, moving with a grace that spoke of long years spent in the wilderness. The figure stopped a few paces away, lowering their hood to reveal a young woman with piercing green eyes and hair the color of midnight. "I am Elara," the woman said, her voice soft yet carrying an undeniable strength. "I have been watching over the hidden paths, waiting for the one who carries the Moonbeam Pansy. Your arrival has been foretold." Lydia nodded, sensing the importance of this meeting. "I am Princess Lydia. The Moonbeam Pansy has guided me here, and I seek to fulfill the prophecy." Elara studied her for a moment, then smiled. "The prophecy is indeed great, and the path is fraught with challenges. But you are not alone. The guardians of the hidden pathways will aid you. I am the first of many allies you will find." Lydia felt a surge of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Elara. Your help is most welcome." Elara gestured towards the meadow beyond the statue. "The path continues through the moonlit fields. There, you will face your first trial. The guardians of this realm will test your courage and resolve. Prove yourself worthy, and you shall gain their favor." Lydia took a deep breath, her determination solidifying. With Leora by her side, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together they stepped into the moonlit fields, the pansy's glow lighting their way. The fields were alive with nocturnal creatures, their eyes glowing in the darkness. The air was filled with the hum of unseen wings and the rustle of leaves. Lydia felt the weight of unseen eyes upon her, watching her every move. As they walked, Leora spoke of the trials ahead. The Guardians will test not just your strength, but your heart and spirit. They seek a leader who can inspire and protect, who can make sacrifices for the greater good. Lydia nodded, absorbing the wisdom in Leora's words. She knew the path would not be easy, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. With each step, she felt the presence of the moonlit guardian, Alicia, guiding her. The meadow began to change, the grass growing taller and the air growing thicker with the scent of wildflowers. In the distance, Lydia could see a shimmering portal, its light beckoning her forward. "This is the entrance to the first trial," Leora said, her voice filled with both challenge and encouragement. "Beyond this portal lies a test that will shape your journey. Trust in the pansy's light and in your own strength. You are more powerful than you realize." Lydia took a deep breath, her heart steady. With Leora by her side and the Moonbeam Pansy in her hand, she stepped through the portal, ready to face the trial that awaited her. The hidden pathways of her destiny were unfolding, and she was determined to walk them with courage and grace. As Lydia stepped through the shimmering portal, the world around her shifted. The moonlit fields faded, replaced by a dense, shadowy forest. The air was cool and still, the silence broken only by the distant call of an owl. The Moonbeam Pansy's glow cast long, wavering shadows, creating a path that led deeper into the forest. Beside her, Leora's presence was a comforting anchor. "The first trial is one of courage," Leora said, her voice low and steady. "You must face your deepest fears and emerge stronger." Lydia nodded, gripping the pansy tightly. She moved forward, each step echoing in the stillness. The trees loomed tall and foreboding, their branches entwined like skeletal hands. As she walked, she began to hear whispers, faint and haunting, as if the very forest was speaking to her. The whispers grew louder, forming words that chilled her to the bone. "Unworthy, alone, failure." The voices seemed to know her deepest insecurities, echoing her private doubts. Lydia paused, her heart pounding. She closed her eyes, focusing on the warmth of the pansy's glow. "I am not alone," she whispered to herself. "I am worthy. I will not fail." With renewed determination, she continued walking. The whispers persisted, but she pushed them aside, focusing on the path ahead. The forest grew darker, the shadows closing in around her. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the gloom, a monstrous creature with glowing red eyes and jagged teeth. Lydia's breath caught in her throat, fear gripping her. The creature advanced, its eyes fixed on her. "You cannot defeat me," it hissed, its voice a chilling echo of the whispers. But Lydia stood her ground, the pansy's light steady in her hand. "I will not be afraid," she declared, her voice strong. "I have the courage to face my fears." The creature snarled, lunging at her. Lydia raised the pansy, its glow intensifying. The light struck the creature and it recoiled, its form flickering and wavering. With a final defiant cry, Lydia stepped forward, pushing the light towards the monster. The creature screamed, its form dissolving into shadows. The whispers ceased, and the forest fell silent once more. Lydia stood alone, the pansy's light casting a soft glow around her. She had faced her fear and emerged victorious. From the shadows, Elara appeared, her eyes filled with pride. "You have passed the first trial, Princess Lydia. Your courage is undeniable." Lydia smiled, relief washing over her. "Thank you, Elara. I couldn't have done it without your guidance." Elara nodded. "The path ahead will be challenging, but you have proven that you have the strength to face it. Come, there is more to see." Together, they continued through the forest. The trees began to thin, and soon they emerged into a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood a crystal-clear pool, its surface reflecting the stars above. "This is the pool of reflection," Elara explained. "It will show you the truth of your heart. Look into the water, and you will see your true self." Lydia approached the pool, her reflection shimmering on the surface. She saw herself, not as the hesitant princess she had been, but as a strong, determined leader. The trials had revealed her inner strength, and she felt a newfound confidence. As she gazed into the pool, the water began to ripple, forming images of the future. She saw herself leading her kingdom, bringing peace and prosperity. She saw the faces of those she would help, and the allies who would stand by her side. Lydia turned to Elara, her heart filled with resolve. "I am ready for whatever comes next." Elara smiled, her eyes shining with approval. "You are well on your way to fulfilling the prophecy. The next trial awaits, but you have proven that you are worthy of the journey. Trust in yourself and in the light of the Moonbeam Pansy. Your destiny is within reach." With renewed determination, Lydia and Elara continued their journey, the path of destiny unfolding before them. The trials had only just begun, but Lydia was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The hidden pathways of her future were illuminated by the light of the pansy, and she was determined to walk them with courage and grace. The moon had risen high in the sky, casting a silver veil over the landscape as Lydia and Elara continued their journey. The air was crisp and filled with the scents of night-blooming flowers, and the soft glow of the Moonbeam Pansy lit their way. Lydia felt a sense of accomplishment from overcoming the first trial, but she knew there were more challenges ahead. As they walked, the forest began to change, the trees growing taller and more ancient. Their branches wove together, creating a dense canopy that shrouded the path in shadows. The atmosphere grew tense, as if the forest itself was holding its breath in anticipation. Elara paused, her eyes scanning the darkness. "We are not alone," she whispered, her hand reaching for the dagger at her belt. Lydia's heart quickened. She tightened her grip on the pansy, its light casting long shadows that flickered like phantoms. "Who is there?" she called out, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her. From the shadows emerged several figures, their forms cloaked and their faces hidden beneath hoods. They moved with silent grace, their presence both eerie and commanding. Lydia could feel the weight of their gaze upon her, their intentions unclear. One of the figures stepped forward, lowering their hood to reveal a young man with piercing blue eyes and a mane of dark hair. "I am Kieran, leader of the Shadow Sentinels," he said, his voice calm and confident. "We have been watching you, Princess Lydia. Your courage in facing the first trial has impressed us." Lydia felt a mix of relief and wariness. "The Shadow Sentinels. Are you friend or foe?" Kieran smiled, a glint of amusement in his eyes. "We are allies if you will have us. Our duty is to protect the hidden pathways and those who walk them. The Moonbeam Pansy has chosen you, and so we are here to offer our aid." Leora stepped forward, her eyes narrowing. "Prove your loyalty, Kieran. Words alone are not enough." Kieran nodded, his expression serious. He raised his hand, and the other sentinels followed suit, revealing a symbol etched into their palms. A crescent moon intertwined with a blooming flower. "We are bound by the same light that guides you," he said. "Our loyalty is to the prophecy and to you, Princess." Lydia studied the symbol, feeling a resonance with the light of the pansy. She sensed sincerity in Kieran's words and the unwavering determination of the sentinels. "Very well," she said, her voice firm. "We accept your help. Together, we will face the trials and fulfill the prophecy." Kieran bowed slightly, a sign of respect. "We will guide you through the next leg of your journey. The path ahead is treacherous, but with our combined strength, we will prevail." With the Shadow Sentinels joining their ranks, Lydia felt a renewed sense of hope. They continued along the hidden path, the forest around them alive with the sounds of night. The sentinels moved with an eerie grace, their eyes ever watchful, ready to defend against any threat. As they walked, Kieran fell into step beside Lydia. "You have shown great courage, Princess," he said. "But the trials ahead will test you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Trust in the light of the pansy and in the strength of your allies." Lydia nodded, her resolve unwavering. "I am ready, Kieran. Whatever lies ahead, I will face it with courage and determination." The path led them to a clearing where the moonlight pooled like liquid silver, illuminating an ancient stone bridge that spanned a deep ravine. The bridge was narrow and treacherous, the stones worn smooth by centuries of use. On the other side, the path continued into the unknown, shrouded in mist. "This is the Bridge of Shadows," Kieran explained. "It is said that only those pure of heart can cross safely. The next trial awaits on the other side." Lydia took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the bridge. The Moonbeam Pansy's glow seemed to intensify, as if offering reassurance. "I will cross," she said, stepping forward with determination. As she placed her foot on the first stone, she felt a surge of energy, the light of the pansy guiding her steps. The Sentinels and Elara watched with bated breath, ready to follow. Lydia walked with confidence, each step a testament to her courage and the strength of her allies. Together, they crossed the bridge of shadows, the moonlight guiding their way. The hidden pathways of destiny stretched out before them, filled with trials and challenges that would test their resolve. But Lydia knew they were ready. With the light of the pansy and the support of her newfound allies, she was determined to fulfill the prophecy and bring peace to her kingdom. Chapter 2. The Path of Trials. As dawn broke, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold, Lydia and her companions reached the edge of the Whispering Woods. The trees here were ancient and tall, their branches intertwining to form a dense canopy that blocked out much of the light. The forest exuded an aura of mystery, and the air was thick with the scent of earth and moss. Kieran, Elara, and the other shadow sentinels moved with a quiet confidence, their eyes ever watchful for signs of danger. Lydia clutched the Moonbeam Pansy, its glow a comforting presence in the deepening shadows. She felt a mix of anticipation and trepidation as they ventured into the woods, knowing that the next trial awaited them within. The forest seemed alive with whispers, the voices of unseen spirits weaving through the trees. Lydia strained to catch the words, but they were elusive, slipping through her grasp like water through fingers. "What are they saying?" she asked, her voice a hushed whisper. Elara glanced at her, her expression thoughtful. "The Whispering Woods are said to hold the memories of those who have walked these paths before us. The voices you hear are echoes of their hopes, fears, and dreams. Listen closely, for they may offer guidance." Lydia nodded, focusing on the whispers. She could make out fragments of sentences, snatches of conversations that seemed both ancient and familiar. Courage, heart, trust. The words resonated within her, strengthening her resolve. As they delved deeper into the forest, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. The path twisted and turned, leading them through dense thickets and over babbling brooks. The trees seemed to lean closer, their branches forming archways that guided their way. Suddenly, the path opened into a small clearing, bathed in dappled sunlight. In the center stood a large, ancient tree, its trunk gnarled and twisted with age. At its base, a shimmering pool reflected the sky above, its surface rippling with unseen currents. Kieran stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the pool. "This is the pool of memories," he said. "It is said that those who drink from its waters can see the past and gain wisdom from those who came before." Lydia approached the pool, her reflection wavering on the surface. She knelt and cupped her hands, dipping them into the cool, clear water. As she drank, a vision unfolded before her eyes. She saw a young woman, much like herself, standing in the same clearing. The woman held a glowing pansy, its light illuminating the darkness around her. She walked a path fraught with danger, facing trials that tested her courage and resolve. Lydia watched as the woman overcame each challenge, her heart filled with determination and the support of her allies. The vision faded, and Lydia found herself back in the clearing, the whispers of the forest filling her ears. She felt a deep connection to the woman in the vision, knowing that their fates were intertwined. "She was a guardian like me," Lydia murmured. "Her journey paved the way for mine." Leora nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "We are all part of a greater tapestry, Lydia. The trials you face are not just for your own sake, but for those who will come after you. The wisdom of the past can guide us, but it is our actions that shape the future." Lydia stood, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "I will honor the legacy of those who came before me. I will face the trials with courage and trust in the light of the pansy." The group continued their journey, the whispers of the forest growing fainter as they moved deeper into the woods. Lydia felt a sense of calm, knowing that she was not alone. The spirits of the past walked with her, their voices guiding her steps. As they reached the heart of the whispering woods, a new challenge awaited them. The path split into several directions, each one shrouded in mist. The whispers returned, louder and more urgent, as if trying to steer them toward the correct path. Kieran studied the paths, his brow furrowed in concentration. The correct path is hidden among the illusions. We must trust in the whispers and in ourselves to find the way. Lydia took a deep breath, closing her eyes and listening to the voices. Courage, heart, trust. The words echoed in her mind, guiding her steps. She opened her eyes and pointed to a path on the right, its entrance barely visible through the mist. "This way," she said with confidence. The group followed her lead, their steps sure and steady. The mist parted before them, revealing a clear path that led out of the whispering woods. The trial of the forest was behind them, but Lydia knew that greater challenges lay ahead. With the light of the Moonbeam Pansy and the strength of her allies, she was ready to face whatever the path of destiny had in store. The journey continued, each step bringing her closer to fulfilling the prophecy and securing the future of her kingdom. The whispering woods gradually thinned out, giving way to a landscape dominated by rolling hills and sparkling streams. The moon had risen high, its silvery light casting an enchanting glow over the land. Lydia and her companions followed a winding path that led them to the edge of a great chasm, spanned by an ancient stone bridge. The bridge was a marvel of old-world craftsmanship, its stones intricately carved with runes and symbols that glowed faintly in the moonlight. At the center of the bridge stood a formidable figure, tall and imposing, draped in armor that gleamed like polished obsidian. The Guardian's eyes shone with an otherworldly light, and a massive sword hung at their side. Kieran halted, his expression grave. "This is the Bridge of Echoes," he said softly. "And that is its guardian. To cross, we must prove our worth." Lydia stepped forward, the Moonbeam Pansy glowing brightly in her hand. She approached the Guardian, her heart steady, but her mind alert. "I am Princess Lydia," she announced, her voice clear and strong. I seek to cross this bridge on my quest to fulfill the prophecy. The guardian regarded her with a gaze that seemed to pierce through to her very soul. Many have attempted to cross this bridge, they intoned, their voice resonating with power. Few have succeeded. To earn passage, you must answer a riddle that tests your wisdom and understanding. Lydia nodded, her resolve unwavering. I am ready. The guardian's eyes glowed brighter, and their voice echoed across the chasm. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Lydia pondered the riddle, her mind racing through possible answers. She thought of the whispers in the forest, the way they carried messages without form. Then, with a sudden clarity, she understood. An echo, she answered confidently. You are an echo. The guardian's stern expression softened into a smile. You are wise, Princess Lydia. The path is open to you. They stepped aside, allowing Lydia and her companions to cross the bridge. As they walked across, Lydia felt the weight of the guardian's gaze upon her, a silent promise of the trial still to come. The bridge beneath their feet seemed to hum with ancient energy, and Lydia could feel the power of the runes resonating with the light of the pansy. Once they reached the other side, the guardian spoke again. Your wisdom has earned you passage, but your journey is far from over. The path ahead is fraught with danger and deception. Trust in your allies and in the light of the Moonbeam Pansy, for it will guide you through the darkness. Lydia bowed her head in gratitude. Thank you, Guardian. I will heed your advice and continue my quest with courage and determination. With the bridge behind them, the group continued their journey, the landscape changing once more. They entered a region of rugged cliffs and deep valleys, where the wind howled like a chorus of lost souls. The air was thick with the scent of salt and brine, hinting at the proximity of the sea. As they walked, Kieran spoke of the trials that lay ahead. The next challenge will test not just your courage, but your heart. The Cavern of Echoes lies within these cliffs, a place where the past and present collide. You will face your deepest fears and confront the shadows of your past. Lydia nodded, her determination unwavering. She had faced the Guardian's riddle and earned passage across the Bridge of Echoes. She had navigated the whispering woods and listened to the wisdom of the spirits. Each trial had strengthened her resolve and brought her closer to fulfilling the prophecy. The path ahead was daunting, but Lydia felt a deep sense of purpose guiding her steps. With the Moonbeam Pansy lighting her way and the support of her loyal allies, she knew she could overcome any challenge. The Cavern of Echoes awaited, and Lydia was ready to face the shadows and emerge victorious. Together they pressed on, the hidden pathways of destiny unfolding before them. The trials would be difficult, but Lydia was determined to succeed. Her kingdom depended on her, and she would not falter. The light of the pansy and the strength of her companions would see her through. and she would fulfill the prophecy that had guided her path from the very beginning. The path led Lydia and her companions to the base of a towering cliff, where the entrance to the Cavern of Echoes loomed like a gaping maw. The wind whistled through the rocky crags, creating an eerie melody that set the tone for the trial ahead. The air grew colder, and the scent of salt was replaced by the damp, earthy aroma of the cave. Lydia paused at the entrance, the glow of the Moonbeam Pansy casting soft light into the cavern's darkness. She felt a shiver of apprehension, but quickly steadied herself, knowing that this trial was crucial to her quest. Kieran and Leora stood beside her, their expressions resolute. "The Cavern of Echoes," Kieran said, his voice barely more than a whisper. "This place is a reflection of the soul. It will reveal your deepest fears and the shadows of your past. Only by confronting them can you move forward." Lydia took a deep breath and nodded. "I am ready." Together, they stepped into the cavern, the light of the pansy illuminating the way. The air inside was cool and damp, and the walls glistened with moisture. The echoes of their footsteps reverberated through the cave, creating an almost musical resonance. As they ventured deeper, the cave's natural beauty gave way to something more sinister. Shadows flickered at the edges of their vision, and the whispers began anew, this time filled with more malice and despair. Lydia's heart pounded, but she pressed on, determined to face whatever lay ahead. Suddenly, the path widened into a vast chamber, its ceiling lost in darkness. The walls were lined with shimmering crystals that reflected the pansy's light in a myriad of colors. At the center of the chamber stood a pool of dark, still water, its surface like a mirror. Lydia knew instinctively that this was the heart of the cavern. As she approached the pool, the shadows around her coalesced into familiar forms. Figures from her past emerged, their faces twisted with pain and accusation. She saw her parents, their expressions filled with disappointment, and friends she had lost, their eyes hollow with blame. The vision of her parents stepped forward, their voices a haunting chorus. "Lydia, you have failed us. You are not worthy of the crown." Lydia's heart ached, but she stood her ground. "I know I have made mistakes, but I will not let my past define me. I am stronger now, and I will prove my worth." Next, the vision of a childhood friend appeared, her eyes filled with sorrow. "You left me behind, Lydia. You abandoned me when I needed you most." Tears welled in Lydia's eyes, but she faced the vision with courage. "I am sorry for the pain I caused. I will carry the memory of our friendship with me always, and strive to be better." The visions dissipated, their whispers fading into the darkness. Lydia turned to the pool, knowing that the final confrontation awaited. She knelt by the water's edge, the Moonbeam Pansy glowing brightly in her hand. The surface of the pool rippled, and a new vision emerged. This time, it was her own reflection, but twisted and dark. The reflection spoke, its voice cold and menacing. "You are not strong enough, Lydia. You will fail, and your kingdom will fall." Lydia felt a surge of fear but pushed it aside. She looked into the eyes of her dark reflection and spoke with unwavering determination. I will not let fear control me. I have the strength, courage, and heart to succeed. I will fulfill the prophecy and save my kingdom. With those words, the dark reflection shattered, and the pool's surface became calm once more. The cavern filled with a warm, golden light, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. Lydia felt a sense of peace and clarity, knowing she had overcome the shadows of her past. Kieran and Leora approached, their faces filled with pride. "You have conquered the Cavern of Echoes, Princess Lydia," Kieran said. "Your courage and resolve have proven that you are worthy of the path you walk." Lydia stood, the light of the Moonbeam Pansy shining brighter than ever. "Thank you, Kieran, Leora. I could not have done this without your support." The path ahead beckoned, and Lydia felt a renewed sense of purpose. The trials had tested her in ways she could not have imagined, but she had emerged stronger and more determined than ever. The Cavern of Echoes was behind her, and the journey continued, the light of destiny guiding her steps. Together they left the cavern, ready to face the next challenge. The hidden pathways of fate stretched out before them, filled with uncertainty, but also with hope. Lydia knew that with courage, heart, and the support of her allies, she could overcome any obstacle and fulfill the prophecy that would save her kingdom. Leaving the Cavern of Echoes behind, Lydia and her companions continued their journey through the rugged cliffs and valleys. The Moonbeam Pansy's light remained a steady beacon, guiding them towards the next trial. The landscape shifted once more, becoming a labyrinth of towering hedges and winding paths. Before them lay the entrance to the Illusionary Maze, its walls shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Kieran paused, his expression serious. The Illusionary Maze is a place of deception. It will test our unity and trust in one another. We must stay together and rely on the light of the pansy to reveal the true path. Lydia nodded, her determination unwavering. We will face this trial as we have the others, with courage and unity. The group stepped into the maze, the air thick with enchantment. The hedges loomed high above them, their leaves whispering secrets and casting shifting shadows. The path before them seemed to twist and turn in impossible ways, creating an ever-changing landscape of confusion. As they walked, the maze began to play tricks on their minds. The paths seemed to close in on themselves, leading them in circles. Shadows flickered at the edge of their vision, and faint, disorienting whispers filled the air. Lydia felt a sense of unease growing within her. She gripped the Moonbeam Pansy tightly, its glow cutting through the illusions. "Stay close," she urged her companions. "Trust in the light." Despite their resolve, the maze's deceptions grew more insidious. Lydia began to see visions of her loved ones, calling out to her from the shadows. She heard her mother's voice, soft and comforting, urging her to follow a path that led away from her companions. For a moment, doubt flickered in her heart. She took a step towards the vision, But Kieran's voice broke through the illusion. "Lydia, no, it's a trick!" Lydia blinked, the vision dissolving like mist. She turned back to her companions, gratitude filling her heart. "Thank you, Kieran. The maze is trying to divide us." Leora stepped forward, her eyes filled with determination. "We must hold on to our trust in each other. The maze feeds on our doubts and fears. As long as we remain united, it cannot deceive us." Together, they pressed on, the light of the Moonbeam Pansy guiding their way. The illusions grew stronger, but Lydia focused on the bond she shared with her allies. Each time the maze tried to separate them, they found strength in their unity, supporting one another through the disorienting paths. At one point, the maze conjured a vision of Kieran, wounded and calling for help. Lydia's heart ached, but she knew it was another trick. She reached out and touched his shoulder, feeling the solid reality of his presence beside her. "We're in this together," she said firmly. Kieran smiled, his eyes shining with resolve. "We are stronger together." The maze's illusions began to falter in the face of their unity. The path ahead grew clearer, the hedges parting to reveal a central chamber bathed in moonlight. At the center of the chamber stood an ancient stone pedestal, on which lay a beautifully crafted compass. Lydia approached the pedestal, her heart filled with anticipation. She picked up the compass, its needle glowing with a soft ethereal light. As she held it, she felt a connection to the wisdom and strength of those who had walked the path before her. "This compass will guide us through the remaining trials," Leora said, her voice filled with reverence. "It is a symbol of our unity and trust, forged in the heart of the Illusionary Maze." Lydia nodded, the light of the Moonbeam Pansy and the glow of the compass reflecting in her eyes. "We have proven that we can overcome any deception as long as we stay united." With the compass in hand and their bond stronger than ever, the group left the Illusionary Maze. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but Lydia felt a renewed sense of purpose. The trials had tested their unity and trust, and they had emerged victorious. As they continued their journey, the light of destiny illuminated their way. Lydia knew that with the support of her allies and the guidance of the pansy and compass, she could overcome any obstacle. The prophecy was within reach, and she was determined to fulfill it, bringing peace and prosperity to her kingdom. The next trial awaited, and Lydia was ready to face it with courage, heart, and unwavering resolve. The hidden pathways of destiny stretched out before her, and she walked them with confidence, knowing that she was not alone. As Lydia and her companions emerged from the Illusionary Maze, the landscape transformed once more. The rugged cliffs and winding paths gave way to a vast, barren plain under a sky heavy with dark clouds. The air was charged with tension, and the distant rumble of thunder echoed ominously. The final trial lay ahead, and Lydia could feel the weight of destiny pressing upon her shoulders. In the distance, a towering citadel rose from the plain, its spires piercing the sky like dark sentinels. The citadel was surrounded by a swirling vortex of shadows, a manifestation of the dark sorcerer's power. Lydia knew that within those walls, the final confrontation awaited. Kieran, Leora, and the other shadow sentinels stood beside her, their expressions resolute. The compass glowed faintly in Lydia's hand, its needle pointing unerringly towards the citadel. The Moonbeam Pansy's light remained a constant beacon, guiding them through the encroaching darkness. "Lydia," Kieran said, his voice steady. "This is the heart of the dark sorcerer's power. We must be prepared for anything. He will use every trick and illusion at his disposal to stop us." Lydia nodded, her resolve firm. "We have faced every trial together, and we will face this one as well. The prophecy will be fulfilled." They advanced toward the citadel, the ground beneath their feet becoming rough and uneven. The air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to close in around them, whispering threats and promises of despair. But Lydia held the pansy and compass tightly, their combined light a shield against the encroaching darkness. As they reached the citadel's gates, a figure emerged from the shadows. The dark sorcerer stood tall and imposing, his eyes burning with malice. His robes billowed like dark smoke, and his voice echoed with a chilling power. "Princess Lydia," he sneered, "you are brave to come this far, but bravery alone will not save you. The prophecy is a lie, and you will fail just as those before you have failed." Lydia stepped forward, the light of the Moonbeam Pansy shining brighter in her hand. "You are wrong," she declared. "The prophecy is true, and I will fulfill it. Your reign of darkness ends here." The sorcerer laughed, a cold, hollow sound that sent shivers down their spines. "Very well, princess. Let us see if your light can withstand the darkness." With a wave of his hand, the sorcerer summoned a tempest of shadows that swirled around them, forming monstrous shapes that lunged towards Lydia and her companions. The shadow sentinels moved to defend her, their weapons gleaming in the dim light. Lydia focused on the light of the pansy and the guidance of the compass. She could feel the strength of her allies beside her, their determination and unity a powerful force. With a deep breath, she raised the pansy high, its light piercing through the darkness. "Stand together!" she shouted. "Trust in the light and in each other!" The companions formed a circle, their backs to one another, facing the onslaught of shadows. The light of the pansy grew even brighter, pushing back the darkness and revealing the true forms of the sorcerer's illusions. One by one, the shadowy creatures dissipated, unable to withstand the power of their unity. The sorcerer's eyes narrowed with fury. "This is not over, princess. You cannot defeat me so easily." Lydia met his gaze with unwavering determination. "We will defeat you, not with power alone, but with the strength of our hearts and the unity of our spirits." The sorcerer unleashed a final wave of dark magic, a torrent of energy that threatened to engulf them. But Lydia and her companions stood firm, their combined light forming a barrier that repelled the attack. The compass glowed brightly, guiding Lydia towards the sorcerer. With a final determined step, Lydia reached the sorcerer and thrust the Moonbeam Pansy forward. The flower's light enveloped the sorcerer, its purity and warmth dissolving the darkness that surrounded him. The sorcerer screamed, his form disintegrating into nothingness. The shadows lifted, and the citadel crumbled, its dark power vanquished. The sky cleared, revealing a brilliant full moon that bathed the land in silvery light. Lydia and her companions stood victorious, their faces filled with relief and triumph. "Lydia," Kieran said, his voice filled with awe. "You did it. The prophecy is fulfilled." Lydia smiled, the light of the pansy still shining brightly. "We did it, together. Our unity and trust were the keys to our victory." With the dark sorcerer defeated and the final trial overcome, Lydia knew that her kingdom was safe. The path ahead was filled with promise and hope, and she was ready to lead her people into a new era of peace and prosperity. The journey had tested her in ways she could never have imagined, but she had emerged stronger and wiser. With the light of the Moonbeam Pansy and the support of her loyal allies, Lydia was prepared to fulfill her destiny as a wise and just ruler. The hidden pathways of fate had been revealed, and she walked them with confidence, knowing that the future was bright and filled with endless possibilities. The moon hung low in the sky, casting its silvery glow over the ruined citadel and the triumphant figures standing within it. Lydia felt a profound sense of relief and accomplishment. The final trial was behind them, but the journey was not yet complete. The Moonbeam Pansy still glowed brightly in her hand, its light leading them towards the last hidden pathway. With Kieran, Elara, and the other shadow sentinels by her side, Lydia walked through the remnants of the dark citadel. The air was filled with the scent of fresh earth and blooming flowers, a stark contrast to the oppressive darkness that had once dominated the place. The path led them to a secluded glade where a single ancient tree stood tall and majestic. At the base of the tree was a portal, shimmering with a celestial light. Lydia knew instinctively that this was the final destination, the gateway to the moon goddess's realm. She turned to her companions, gratitude shining in her eyes. "This is where we part ways," she said softly. "I must enter the portal alone." Kieran nodded, his expression proud and respectful. "You have proven yourself, Lydia. We believe in you. Go with the blessing of the Moonbeam Pansy and the strength of your heart." Elara stepped forward, her eyes filled with warmth. "Remember, you are never truly alone. We will be with you in spirit, supporting you every step of the way." Lydia embraced her companions, drawing strength from their unwavering support. With a deep breath, she turned towards the portal, the pansy's light guiding her. She stepped through the shimmering gateway, feeling a rush of warmth and light envelop her. On the other side, Lydia found herself in a realm of breathtaking beauty. The sky was a deep indigo, studded with stars that twinkled like diamonds. The ground beneath her feet was covered in soft, luminescent moss, and the air was filled with the gentle hum of celestial music. At the center of this wondrous realm stood a figure of radiant light, the moon goddess herself. Her form was ethereal, her eyes filled with wisdom and kindness. Lydia approached, feeling a deep sense of reverence and awe. "Princess Lydia," the goddess spoke, her voice like the melody of the stars. "You have walked the path of destiny with courage and grace. The Moonbeam Pansy has guided you well." Lydia knelt before the goddess, her heart filled with gratitude. "Thank you, great goddess. Your light has shown me the way and given me the strength to face my trials." The moon goddess smiled, a gesture that filled Lydia with warmth and peace. "Rise, Lydia. You have proven yourself worthy. The prophecy has been fulfilled, and your destiny is clear. You are destined to lead your kingdom into an era of peace and prosperity." With a wave of her hand, the goddess caused the Moonbeam Pansy to bloom even brighter, its light intertwining with Lydia's essence. She felt a surge of energy and wisdom, as if the very fabric of the cosmos was being woven into her being. "You now carry the light of the moon within you," the goddess continued. "Use it to guide your people and bring about the harmony that has been foretold. Trust in your heart and the strength of your allies." Lydia stood, the light of the pansy and the blessing of the goddess filling her with an unshakable sense of purpose. "I will, great goddess. I vow to lead with wisdom, courage, and compassion." The moon goddess raised her hand, and a pathway of stars appeared before Lydia, leading back to her kingdom. "Go now, Lydia. Your people await you. Fulfill your destiny and bring light to the world." With a final, respectful bow, Lydia stepped onto the starlit path, feeling the goddess's presence guiding her. The journey back to her kingdom was swift, the celestial pathway carrying her through the night sky. When she emerged from the portal, Lydia found herself standing at the edge of her kingdom, the dawn breaking on the horizon. The air was filled with the songs of birds, and the land seemed to awaken with new life. Her companions greeted her with joy and relief, their faces alight with hope. "Lydia," Kieran said, his voice filled with pride. "You did it. The prophecy is fulfilled." Lydia smiled, her heart brimming with gratitude and determination. "We did it together. Now, let us lead our people into a future filled with light and promise." With the Moonbeam Pansy still glowing brightly in her hand, Lydia led her companions back to the heart of the kingdom. The people welcomed her with open arms, their faces filled with awe and hope. Lydia knew that the trials had prepared her for this moment, and she was ready to fulfill her destiny as a wise and just ruler. The hidden pathways of fate had been revealed, and Lydia walked them with confidence and grace. The light of the Moonbeam Pansy illuminated her path, and with the support of her loyal allies, she was determined to bring peace and prosperity to her kingdom. The prophecy had been fulfilled, and a new era of harmony had begun.